Thought my neighbour was a jerk. But then I found this in my mailbox. You ever have one of those neighbours who just seems like they hate everything and everyone? That was Dave. He lived 3 houses down from me, in this quiet little neighbourhood where everyone mostly kept to themselves. The kind of place with trimmed hedges, backyard BBQs, and kids playing in the street until the sun dipped below the rooftops. Except, Dave was the exception. To be honest, he was that guy. The grumpy old man with a deep frown carved permanently into his face. The one who peeked through his blinds whenever someone walked their dog past his yard. The one who actually measured how far your trash can was from the curb. I'm not even kidding, people said he kept a ruler for it. And so, I stayed out of his way. Every time I walked by his house, I felt like I was being watched. Like I'd done something wrong, just for existing. And if a kid left a scooter on the sidewalk in front of his lawn, he'd bring it over to their house, knock on the door, and tell the parents to control their little monsters. People whispered. Some said he was just lonely. Others claimed he'd once been a drill sergeant. Someone even said he used to work with the police, which kind of made sense with how often he acted like the neighborhood sheriff. But whatever his past was, he definitely wasn't the kind of guy you wanted to get into a conversation with. If he talked, it was usually to complain. And that's why what happened next completely shattered everything I thought I knew. It was a Thursday. Long day at work. I was exhausted, sweaty, and honestly just looking forward to a shower and some leftovers. I pulled into the driveway, grabbed my bag from the passenger seat, and made the short walk to the mailbox. I remember feeling annoyed already because I could feel someone watching me. And yeah, there he was. Dave. Standing on his porch. Arms folded. Eyebrows heavy. Just watching. I rolled my eyes a little and opened the mailbox, expecting the usual, bills, maybe a pizza flyer, probably some junk mail. But then I saw it. An envelope. No return address. Just my name, written in tidy block letters. It took me a second to recognize the handwriting. It was Dave's. I'd seen it before on a flyer he posted last year about people not mowing on odd-numbered days. My first thought, what now? I didn't even wait to get inside. I opened the envelope right there on the sidewalk, already bracing for some ridiculous complaint. But inside was something entirely different. Just a small folded piece of paper. On it, in neat handwriting, it read, I noticed your brake light's been out for a few days. Just thought you'd want to know before it causes trouble. Dave. That's it. No threats. No scolding. Just a warning. A kind one. I stood there, confused. And for the first time, I wasn't annoyed. I was actually grateful. Because the truth is, I had no idea. I don't exactly check my brake lights every day. And then I started thinking, why would he take the time to write me a note? Why didn't he just ignore it, like anyone else would have? That night, I checked. He was right. My left brake light was completely dead. The next day, I found myself walking up to his house. Now, I should tell you, I'd never been to Dave's door before. No one really had. His porch looked like it hadn't had a visitor in years. Dusty welcome mat. Dead plants in the corner. One of those old metal doorbells that make a buzzing sound instead of a chime. I stood there for a full minute, hand hovering in the air. Something about knocking on his door felt big. Like I was crossing a line. But I finally did. Knock, knock, knock. I heard footsteps. The door creaked open. There he was. Same grumpy face. Same folded arms. But before I could say a word, he looked at me and said, brake light, huh? I nodded. Yeah. You were right. Thank you. He didn't smile. Not really. Just gave a little shrug and said, figured you'd want to know. Don't want to get pulled over for something stupid. I thanked him again. And then something weird happened. He opened the door a little wider and said, you want a soda? I hesitated. But curiosity got the better of me. I nodded. His house was not what I expected. Inside, it was quiet. Lived in. Not messy, not fancy. Photos on the wall. A little dusty, sure, but there was warmth to it. He handed me a root beer and sat down across from me like we were old friends. And for the next hour, we talked. Or rather, he talked. For the first time, Dave actually opened up. He told me he used to work in vehicle safety inspections for the city. Old habits die hard, he said with a small chuckle. He told me about his wife who passed away 10 years ago. About how he didn't mean to come off as rude, he just didn't know how to be around people anymore. Not since she died. That hit me deep. All this time, we'd all judged him. But he wasn't mean. He was lonely. And that's when I started noticing things. Like how he'd sweep the sidewalk in front of the whole block, not just his house. How he'd quietly bring in packages left on porches when it rained. How he'd put out water bowls for stray cats. We'd just never bothered to look. I think about that note a lot now. It's funny how one small piece of paper can change everything. Now, I check in on Dave every few days. We watch baseball sometimes. He tells me stories about the old neighborhood. And when my cousin's car broke down 2 streets over, guess who showed up with a toolbox before the tow truck even arrived? Yeah, Dave. So here's the moral of the story. The person you think is the grumpiest, meanest, most unpleasant soul on the block might actually be the one watching out for you the most. Sometimes, the people who say the least care the most. You just have to look past the grumble to see the heart behind it. But just when I thought I knew everything about Dave, something happened that made me realize there was still more to his story.